Okay, so let's talk about saving for your kids' education. It can feel like, well, like you're staring up at this giant mountain, right? But what if I told you there's a tool, a special tool, designed to make that climb way easier, even give you a huge boost to get you started? Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today.
I mean, this is the big question, isn't it? It's on every parent's mind. How in the world do you build for their future when the cost of college, university, or even trade school just seems to be skyrocketing? It's a huge challenge for sure, but the good news is there's a really powerful strategy out there for Canadian families.
So here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll break down what an RSP actually is. Then, we'll get to my favorite part, the free money from the government. Yes, you heard that right, free money. After that, we'll go through the rules of saving, how you actually pay for school, and the big what if plans change. And finally, we'll wrap up with some key dates you'll want to circle on your calendar. Sound good? Let's jump in.
All right, so let's start with the basics. What is this thing? It's called an RSP, and honestly, you can just think of it as your education savings super tool.
So RSESP stands for Registered Education Savings Plan. It's basically a special savings account that has one and only one mission, to help you save for a kid's education after high school. That's it. It's totally focused on that one goal.
So how does this thing actually work? It's pretty straightforward. You put money in. Now, you don't get a tax deduction for that contribution, but here's where the magic happens. All the growth, all the interest, the dividends, any investment gains, it all grows completely tax-free inside the account. And when it's time to use it, that money can go towards pretty much any post-secondary path you can think of. College, university, trade school, apprenticeships, you name it.
Okay, now we get to the really exciting part. This is what makes the RSP an absolute game changer. The government literally partners with you. They help you save, and they do it through something called the Canada Education Savings Grant, or the CESG for short.
The idea here is so simple, but it's incredibly powerful. For every dollar you put in, the government kicks in more money right on top of it. Seriously, it's like getting a guaranteed return on your money from the second you deposit it.
All right, let's talk numbers. The first number you need to burn into your brain is $2,500. $2,500. Why? Because that's the magic number each year to get the most out of the basic government grant. So you put in that $2,500 in a single year, and boom, the government just drops an extra $500 directly into your kid's RSSP. That's a 20% return on your money instantly before it's even had a chance to earn a single cent of interest. Think about that for a second. You put in your own $2,500, but the account balance immediately reads $3,000. It's an incredible boost that just supercharges your savings right from the get-go.
And this isn't just a one-time thing either. You can get this grant year after year, and it all adds up. Over the lifetime of the plan, we're talking about a maximum of $7,200 in free money from the government for each child.
Okay, so of course there are a few rules you've got to know, but don't think of them as annoying red tape. Seriously, they're more like a playbook, a strategy guide to help you squeeze every last drop of value out of your RESP.
So here are the big ones. First, there's a lifetime limit on what you can put in. That's $50,000 per child. Second, and this is awesome, there's a catch-up rule. Let's say you miss a year, no problem. The next year you can put in $5,000 and you'll get the grant for both years. That's a cool $1,000 from the government all at once. And finally, the basics for eligibility. The child just needs to be a Canadian resident and have a social insurance number.
Now, timing is everything with this. Listen up, this is important. If you want to get any grant money when your kid is 16 or 17, you have to, and I mean have started contributing before the end of the year they turn 15. And the end of their 17th year, that's it. That's the last possible chance to get any of that government grant money. So, yeah, you definitely want to mark these dates on your calendar.
Okay, let's fast forward. You've been saving for years. Your child is all grown up and enrolled in school. Awesome. Now it's time to actually use the money. So, how does the money come out?
Well, the money comes out in two different pots. The first pot is all of your original contributions, the money you put in. That comes back to you 100% tax-free. It's your money. You get it back, no strings attached. The second pot is all the government grant money and all the investment growth. Now, this part is taxable, but here's the genius of the system. It's taxed in the hands of the student. And since most students have basically zero income, they end up paying little to no tax on it anyway. It's a brilliant setup.
But, life happens. Things don't always go according to plan. So what happens if your kid decides not to go to school? That's a huge concern for a lot of parents.
But don't worry, your money is not just going to disappear. There are safety nets built right into the system. And this is probably the #1 question people have, and it's a totally fair question. The short answer is no, you are not going to lose all your hard-earned savings. Not even close.
Here's the breakdown of what happens. First, every single penny you put in comes right back to you. Tax-free. Simple as that. Second, the government takes its grant money back. I mean, fair enough, right? That was the deal. It was for education. And finally, for all that investment growth, you've got options. You can usually roll it over into your own RRSP, your retirement plan, or you can just withdraw it, though you'll have to pay some tax on it. The key thing to remember is this: your original money, your capital, is always safe.
All right, let's wrap this up with a quick review of the most important dates. These are the ones you'll want to remember to stay on track and get the most out of this whole thing.
Okay, 3 dates to remember. First, December 31st. That's the deadline every single year to make a contribution and get that year's grant. Second, the end of the year your child turns 15. That is the huge milestone for making sure they can get grants in those later teen years. And one last thing, for some lower-income families, there's an extra benefit called the Canada Learning Bond. Just make sure you apply for that before your kid turns 18 if you're eligible.
So, if there's one thing you take away from all this, let it be this. An RSP is so much more than just a savings account. It's a powerful investment tool that's been supercharged with tax-free growth and that incredible 20% top-up from the government. Honestly, it's one of the best tools out there for building a really solid foundation for your child's future.
And look, the sooner you start, the more time you give that tax-free growth and all that free government money to work its magic. When you really think about it, the question isn't, can I afford to save for their future? It's, can I really afford not to?